much for coming in this afternoon. As you know, we're doing a feature series on the public school system, and you, along with several other administrators, teachers, and students have been identified to participate in our interviews. So thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule. First question is that we're going to ask you to address time management, and the specific question is, when addressing areas of time management, what do you see as your areas of main concern?
Well, there's not enough time for anyone during the day, but since we have to make the best use of what we have, I try to be very organized. I have started doing a procedure of answering my emails first thing in the morning, and then I turn those emails off because email just seems to eat up my time during the day. I have to be very accessible to the principals and to the schools, and so I found that by taking care of those tasks early on, I'm more available and more accessible later during the day.
Okay. Speaking of time management, some of your critics suggest that you do not spend enough time in the schools and in classrooms, and that as a result you are beginning to get out of touch with the needs of teachers and students. How do you respond to that criticism?
Well, I like to openly welcome any criticism and try to work very diligently to correct any issues that may be coming forward. I think it's very difficult when you are a teacher and you see that you don't have administrators in the building as frequently as you would like. But I take that as a welcoming invite from those teachers, and I will definitely work at that a little bit harder. It is difficult, though. We have 6 schools within the division, and it's a little bit more difficult to get to all 6 all of the time. So what we typically do is we separate those schools into different quadrants, and we use those at different times to go in. For example, September, October, I spend most of the time in the elementary schools. The high schools become very active in the spring, so I spend a lot of time in the high schools during the spring of the year. So that is definitely something I will take note on and work a little bit more diligently toward, but thank you.
Okay. Why did you decide to pursue a career in education?
You know, it's really interesting. Everyone says they go into education because they love children, and I think you can love children in a lot of different professions, but I do believe in a true calling for education. And when I was in high school, I had a teacher that just really inspired me to work and to challenge myself, and I decided that education was the area I wanted to go into. So I actually declared my major as a freshman at East Carolina University on campus. I was a brand new freshman taking sophomore level classes. The dean took me under her wing, and I went on from there and absolutely loved it. So I have never regretted my career choice. I went into home economics, taught for 12 years, was a guidance counselor, and went on from there.
Okay. Your comment about a lot of people suggesting that they go into education because they love children reminds me of a recent episode of Jeopardy, Family Feud that I watched. And they asked the question, what is the thing you like least? They asked a group of teachers, things you like least about your profession. And the #1 response was the students.
I think if you feel that way, I think it's time to get out of the profession. I absolutely believe that. I believe that we are about children, and we need to be about children, and we need to be focused on the children. So, yes, I definitely do not agree with that.
I just found that to be a very discouraging comment on education. What do you think are the biggest challenges that you face in your position?
I think some of the biggest challenges that we're facing now are the same challenges that all of Virginia are facing. They're budgetary because they're affecting my instructional programming. They're affecting the differentiated instruction that we're doing within the schools, and we're having to really become extremely creative. We're having to actually embrace this new budget and try to work to do twice as much with little. And, you know, it's just a real challenge for us. But I think that is the one area that if I could change something, that's what it would be. I wouldn't take the workload away, but I would definitely try to do something about the budget.
Okay. Let's take a break, and that way we can